Okay. Let's see. What else do we have? Okay, Brian, take it away.
So might as well start with this. I've put in my 2 weeks notice at Red Hat, going to a company where I'm not going to be working on Istio. And my last day is the 24th. So thank you to everyone. It's been awesome. I'll still be on the Istio Slack if you need anything or need to reach out or anything. So yeah, thank you.
Okay. Oh, no, thank you. So one fairly obvious question, Brian, is do you want to remain on the TOC?
I'm going to step down from the TOC.
Okay. Let me just make sure I capture that. Okay.
On a
brings up.
Oh, continue.
I was just going to capture in the notes that we need to find a replacement.
Okay. On a related note to that, the third bullet down is just so John Wendell has volunteered to be a co-lead for test and release. So the TOC approves that, and we've already approved it in test and release.
TOC members, do we want to just vote on that? I have no objections.
Yeah, no objections.
No objections. John has served also release managers before, right? Yeah, no objections.
Yep, for 2 releases. And he's already a maintainer of Pindar.
Okay. Thank you, John. And you are now one of the working group leads. So if folks want to consider themselves as candidates for the TOC, they should put a comment in the doc. You could also just reach out on Slack. I think probably the best place to do that is the TOC steering questions Slack channel. Any other suggestions about how to go about soliciting candidates? Okay. All right, release schedule.
So this is the schedule for next year. I tried to find KubeCon if I see if there's any conflict, but I didn't see any dates for the KubeCon. But this is right now the suggested dates for quarterly. Oops.
Sorry, I'm just. All right. See that? The slide you wanted, Shweta?
Yes, thank you. Again, these are the tentative dates, and various KubeCon planned. I didn't find them on the internet, so I don't know them yet. They are very much aligned with how we have this year, so around the same dates, and they worked very well for us. So I wanted the approval from the TOC.
Obviously, this is retrospectively looking as opposed to forward looking. You have 1, 13, 14, 15, and 16.
Right. So Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 next year. It's forward.
Yep. Sorry. What?
That's
Sorry.
version. Now,
I'm thinking of like one. It's just sorry. It threw me off for a second. Yeah.
Were you thinking of Kubernetes? I thought so too.
Yeah.
Since we're doing 4 and they're doing 3, we'll eventually catch up, and then we'll pass.
Do we?
Then we'll just match for speed. There is a question to be had about switching to doing 3.
Yeah.
And we might switch to doing 3 in 2022 if we think it makes sense.
Do you know? You're thinking like from the quarter, like the starting of 2022, so I can adjust accordingly, or do you want?
No, I mean, I don't think we have a fully fleshed out thought about this yet.
Okay.
I mean, obviously the advantage of 4 over 3 is we get 1 more month of development relative to the cost of release.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so there's more engineering time. There's less time spent, doing planning presentations in aggregate for the year. So, it just shifts the relative investment into more engineering, a little less planning, and a little less release execution. And then there's the question of, well, do customers need more than 3 releases a year?
Yeah.
Right. Dustin?
We've been talking about aligning the CVE releases with Envoy, and there's more of a dependency there, but does it make sense to align with Envoy's release cadence for this as well?
They're quarterly, right?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
They are quarterly. So I think a few weeks back, I was trying to align Envoy, Kubernetes, and us. So Kubernetes have moved to 3, Envoy haven't. So I wasn't sure what should I suggest.
Right. I don't remember Envoy's support window. How many releases back do they support? Because we may have 1 release a year where we would have to upgrade the version of Envoy and a patch release, basically.
Yeah, I feel like it was went back like 3 releases from what I remember from when we did our CVE release.
And that's better than us. Now that we're N-1 plus 6 weeks. Right. If we went to 4 months, we'd be very close, actually. Right. We'd be 5.5 months at N-1 plus 6 weeks. We would drift by 4 weeks every quarter, by 4 weeks every release. Which might not be so bad, but. And we still can take a new release of Envoy in a patch release if we had to.
I think we actually don't want to align exactly with Envoy. We'd rather Envoy come out a few weeks before so that we can test it.
Right.
And so far, they are about 1 month shifted from this in the right direction. So historically, they at least used to be kind of give or take 2 weeks on their release dates, but the past few ones seem to be about exactly 1 month before re-release, which seems good. So that is to say, unless someone from Envoy knows any better, I think this sounds like a good schedule.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know when I looked at this information when I was helping Mitch with his document, us sliding a few weeks would have been probably better. They're when I was looking at Envoy, they're tagged to start their release basically the end of the quarter. And it was averaging about 15 to 18 days for them to get a release out. So they would come out about the 15th or the 18th of January, etc. And so if we would start our branch cut either then or slightly after then, so that we weren't trying to push a new Envoy after branch cut, that seemed to make more sense to me. But I did like the staying quarterly because Envoy was quarterly as opposed to trying to go to Kubernetes.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I have no problem with these dates, and I'm not going to strongly push for 3 releases a year unless there's a large push within the community to do that. So, which it doesn't sound like there is. So, this looks good to me, Shweta.
Yep. Thank you.
Other TOC members.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, no objection.
So I quickly have a follow-up question. Where do we publish the tentative dates?
I don't think we actually publish them externally, Mandar.
Yeah, I was about to say, Mandar, we haven't done it, but I think we should.
Yeah, we
Because
should.
there-
because-
Yeah.
like Istio community or something that's not a presentation. So I think like Istio community where we have some, and it's okay to put tentative there,
Yeah.
but it's useful for someone to search and then just see what's expected.
No, I agree. I mean, people reach out to me individually on Slack, so I think it totally makes sense to have it out.
I mean, we have the release history page, right? It could go in the bottom of that page saying, the tentative upcoming release dates are as follows.
Yep, that's also viable.
Does that work for you, Shweta?
Yep.
Okay. Let me just capture that in notes.
We may want to, I don't know, update the page by releases and upcoming releases. Otherwise, it will be odd to say just history and then in the bottom you have upcoming releases.
That's not that odd.
Okay. So there was one more bullet. If you want to go to the TOC, and if we are done here.
Sorry. I'm just capturing the notes. Let me switch back over. Okay.
Okay, so the other thing which I was really looking for is the one-pager strategy document for 2022 is way overdue at this point.
I believe there's a document with some chicken scratch in it, but I would not call it a strategy document right now. Sven, Brian, I know you guys didn't get to do something last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, it's in outline form. It's not fleshed out yet.
I guess the answer then, Shweta, is answer Hazy harass us again next week.
Okay, can we just add a date for a date? So at least like I don't want to push every week, but at least if I know when are we expecting to complete it.
I can take a pass this week. So let's say next week, make it due.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for that detail, Eric. Yang Min.
Yeah, so I put this last Friday for some guidance and help from TOC, but I think we have found the short-term owner to look into this. I think Taylor is looking into like fixing the Envoy crash in order to update the Envoy dependency. So the remaining item is probably about the long term. Do we want to have some like a rotation or plan so that we don't need to wait for like 2 months to update the Envoy dependency? We have some kind of plan to update it more frequently. It should be easier to fix tests and identify some like the root cause, because 2 months means a lot of like Envoy changes, and it will be harder to fix the test.
So is this to take on? This is not trying to take Envoy from head, right?
I think yeah, this is taking Envoy from head, but that's what we do before we after we finish the last release, right? We like update the Envoy time from time until it reaches the like next version.
Okay. Eric?
Yeah, I was just basically saying exactly what John put in Slack, which is what I had thrown here in the doc as well. Is we do have a daily job which updates Envoy from head, and it's been blocked for 2 weeks or for 2 months. I've put some comments both in the PR asking for help as well as in the networking Slack work group for help. I know John has tried to point me to some people, but that's where it's been out there. We've known about it for 2 months. It would be good from my perspective if, as Yangmin is saying, we have a good point of contact so that somebody can talk to try to get this freed up quicker.
Yeah. So I agree. Like I think this has been known. It was just lacking an owner. And I think that Yuchen is, well, we should check with him, but he seems like the natural owner to make sure that this happens, and then of course he could get help from others, but I think we need one person, and that could be Yuchen.
Well, I think we don't want just one person, right? We want a pool of Envoy people who we can reach out to when we run into issues like this, so that it can get resolved in a timely fashion.
Yes, I agree, but I think that having like one person responsible would be better than like trying to ping several. But I mean, I get your point. Having a pool of people who can help, absolutely true.
So who currently are the list of Envoy experts we have in the community, other than Yuchen and now Taylor ramping up?
Lizan is there. I haven't.
I think this is something we might need to think about.
Yep.
Anyone else?
What about Quat?
Yep.
Yeah, Quat's definitely done some.
Rama, probably.
Oh yeah, Rama as well, correct.
Okay. Not a bad list. But Yuchen has the most expertise by? Is that what we think?
I mean,
Was it Yuchen and
if Lizan is
Lizan?
they're
Sorry,
all good.
Lizan.
Yeah, definitely
Uh,
Lizan then. But so I think we then need to work out whose responsibility it is as well.
Okay. So this is part of the networking working group's area of ownership. Stephen, is this something you can take up and figure out?
Yeah.
Okay. Mandar, can you help Stephen out with that?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Okay, but we are currently working on resolving this right now.
Yes. Yeah. So, but like the comment says, Taylor is actively like looking at it, and Yuchen will help.
Okay. And then Sam, you want someone to review the ProxyConfig API?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. PR's been out for like a month. I think John and Niraj and Costin have looked at it, but I just wanted to bring it to TOC to review either offline or however.
Yeah, no, that seems pretty important. Brian, do you want to give us a parting gift and take a look at this before you?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, we obviously that's a pretty significant API for the next release, so we want to get that done. Actually, on that topic, are there other important API reviews? Right, I'm expecting to see maybe the WASM API and maybe refinements to the telemetry API. Is that something we should be seeing?
So WASM API is actually kind of on the implementation side now. There is no, there won't be API review on the telemetry side. Yes, that there are expected to be more PRs for API review.
Yeah. So we don't think we're going to need any API changes for the WASM stuff. At least,
at least
right
no.
Now. Okay.
At least until we get more feedback. No.
Yeah. Are there other APIs?
So there is potentially some more movement on the rate limit API.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
John, anything to say about the Gateway API?
There is one big change, which is the automatically creating the deployment and service from the gateway. Well, there's been many big changes on the gateway API side. Like they had a whole new API revision, but that's not really source of much controversy in Istio. It was very beneficial for us. But there has been some discussion on if we should do it, which I think we should, where it should live, that sort of thing that we should probably resolve so that we can get it merged in and start testing it out pretty soon.
So there, I guess there's gateway semantics. with auto deploy, right?
Yeah.
Any others that people have? There's nothing in the security side, Youngman? Or is there anything you're aware of? There was the JOT routing stuff, correct?
Yep, probably. I will need to look into the PR.
And I think there's a plan to stabilize some of the, or move up the security APIs, but it's unclear whether there are going to be any API changes required for that.
Yeah, hopefully not, because it's a lot easier if we don't have to.
That's right.
I think. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's. When is the freeze date for 112? Shweta, do you remember off the top of your head?
October something. Let me check.
Go ahead, Costin.
Yeah, so one thing we discussed in security recently in the context of the new gateway API, which has a different mechanism to attach policies and to work with other configs, we may need to revisit how security and probably other APIs attached to, kind of we have workload selector, but that may not be ideal because it doesn't work with, well, for some cases it is, some cases it isn't, but we need to figure out how we harmonize the two APIs.
Yes, I think we certainly need to write, here's how you do it before, here's how you do it after, kind of examples, and then we can make some decisions about attachment.
Yeah, in particular, since we no longer select gateways by workload, but we select it by service. And anyway, that's an important topic. We probably discussing working group.
Okay. Right. So there's some tie-in with canonical service.
And canonical service as well. Yes, that's another. Yes.
Okay. Okay, folks. So obviously, we want to get any API changes done by feature freeze, if possible. Well, APIs are features, so if they're not done by that point, right, then we need exceptions.
We're going to have difficulty with the testing because it starts 19th October.
Difficulty with testing is an amorphous way to describe the bug shut-off. Yes, I mean, certainly bug bashes and things like that, or manual testing of the API would be problematic. Anyway, just a reminder for folks, and yeah, please ping the TOC if you need to get reviews out of the way. Is there anything else people want to talk about? Otherwise, we can reclaim 25 glorious minutes. Nope. Well, I guess with that, I just want to say thanks to Brian for everything he's done for the project. I'm glad he's still going to be hanging out on Slack. But it's certainly been a pleasure working with you, Brian, and he's done amazing things for Istio. And I hope your next adventure is just as exciting.
Thank you. And fun.
Thank you, Brian, very much. Appreciate all the work. Sorry to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, for being our best release managers.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brian. We will miss you a lot.
Thanks. It's been fun. I'll be on Slack.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks, everyone, and have a great week. See you next Monday.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.